Hello there, I'm Lorino Assist here, language teacher and language coach, and now personal initiative trainer. But that's a topic for another video. Today we are talking about how hard it is to be a language teacher. So that's like a self-talk I'm doing to myself on how it has been hard and what difficulties I've been facing since I've started teaching, which is like 5 years, 6 years already, and like officially as a teacher, 6 years. But I've been teaching before I had the title of a teacher, so I would just count the last 5 years. Um, First of all, it's the biggest of all. Even after this one, you can just go and continue with your life. Um, the first difficult I have being a teacher is time versus commitment, because everyone wants to speak English, wants to learn English. Don't you want to learn English? And if you do, don't you see that people around you also want to learn English? If you speak English, you can see around you that if people notice that you speak English, they look like, oh, I would like to be speaking English like you. And that's it. People want, but not many are there to invest enough time, enough effort, enough commitment to go the whole journey, the learning journey. And just notice that up to today, I am still learning English. Like I find new words every day. I expose myself to English every day. All my material is in English. The books I read are in English. The videos I watch are in English. This video is in English just for the fact that I am still exposing myself and learning the language. But at the level I am now, I don't have to bother anymore about, oh, is the other people getting what I'm saying or not. So at least that one I have passed. But I had to go through all this way in order to reach where I am. So the first problem I see myself facing towards others is that I have a student that comes in for a month, the latest for 3 months, and we start to see progress, and the person stops. Sometimes it's my own fault, and sometimes it's their own fault. Like maybe I get something else. Like now I'm traveling. I had a student. I had to drop him. Sorry, I wasn't. Um, I had a lesson in person, and I had to stop. But he was making so much prayer. He's a child, which is way easier to understand for him to acquire the language. And by the way, I'm making a video soon on that, on children, how I'm falling in love with teaching children. But that's not for this, that's for another video soon. um the second point I noticed, besides the commitment and everything, is the I don't know, it's kind of a mixture of imposter syndrome plus lack of constant communication. And I know that the person does not have many other ways of exposing himself to the language, him or herself to the language. So I teach him, and I know that after he left the classroom or the session, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to to expose himself to the language anymore. So I'm like, wait, is this really worth it? Am I really useful here? Yes, I kind of ask myself that sometimes. Well, of course, after a while, you end up understanding that okay, it will all compound into what it has to be. But the feeling is still there. Like I spend a lot of time just preparing the lesson, and up to there is I feel like I am betting that that content will be useful for him. So selecting the content also is pretty difficult. Actually, that's why I have started doing coaching sections so that I can look at the person and see that okay, this person prefers this thing. So let me select content that has to do with the person instead of using the course book and just giving him all that. But I of course we still do that with level 1. Like if you don't have any basics of English, it's always good. You never have enough of the basics. That says my greatest teacher, Master Sean. You'll never have enough of the basics of a language. You can always get back to the basics. Even with advanced people, you can always get to the basics. But after you reach a certain level and after you have mastered all the basics or the minimum of the basics for you to send a message and to understand what people are saying, then you need to focus on what is actually useful for you in the language. You cannot just learn everything. If you are a medical doctor, you should focus on language that has to do with that. If you're a cook, focus on language that has to do with that. And that's a challenge for teachers. Mainly it has been a challenge for me to tailor the learning process to the content. And fortunately, I have realized that coaching is way good in giving these one-on-ones chance to tailor the content to the specific person. There's a plane passing by, so I will stop a little.
A few moments later.
I think it's gone. Okay, so we have already mentioned that commitment and time has been an issue because language takes time to learn. Tailoring content to the people, and sometimes imposter syndrome affects me personally as a teacher. And if you're a teacher, probably you might resonate with that too. Another thing that I see that I struggle with, and I don't know. Well, maybe it's my own way of approaching to people and approaching to content. Is that we have different types of learners, and they react to different ways. So besides the content and all those things, and if you prepare a lesson, you have the challenge as a teacher to fit the strategies also to the people you are teaching. And you notice that when you are teaching like big groups of learners, mainly when you are in a classroom, is where you actually notice that. Because when you are teaching one-on-one, you can just fix directly as a reaction to the response you are noticing from the learner. So it's very flexible. But in a classroom, whoa, that's another story. Myself, I tend to be very liberal in a classroom because I believe in creativity, and that there is space for creativity into the noise, like into the freedom of doing whatever you want. Of course, if the person doesn't have the internal motivation, does not understand what is happening there, will lose a lot. That's like the price I feel I pay when I am too liberal into the classroom. But I will probably work. I will probably develop more on building boundaries into a classroom and classroom management, of course. But I will definitely not become very strict in a classroom so far. So it's a challenge specifically for me and other liberal teachers to have everyone engaged in the activity. When you are liberal, that's it, because you are giving the person the choice of joining with you in the lesson. And if you give that the person the choice, you are allowing him to say no to the lesson too. And that's okay with adults, but when you work with kids, low, when they say no to the lesson, it's a chaos, and you have to keep on that negotiation, that dance between, hey, what you're missing here, look at what you're missing here, get back to it. But so you gotta have to continuously motivate when you are working with children and with teenagers. My students from OWA know it well that I like to amuse and call everyone, make everyone choose to be there and respect the environment they are. So that is, I think, I am working on also. And well, if you are here watching this video up to now, thank you very much. It's been a self-reflection for myself, and I don't really know if it can be useful for you too. And I would love to connect with other English teachers in order to have a forum where we can talk about this more deeply. If you are a teacher, please reach out. I have a group of teachers helping teachers, but it's not very active. I created it in a way that we can share information, share experiences, share materials, and have forums to discuss these kind of things. But it's not very active. Maybe you can help me out reviving it and how we can do that. Even if we're just two, it would still be a lot enriching for me, and I guess for you too. So thank you for watching up to here, and if you liked, please, you can just click the like button there. If you have something to comment, please reach out there. People will be reading, I will be reading. I check my comment list almost every day. Most of the time it doesn't have any comments, but I check it anyway, so you can always check me out. I put always a link to my WhatsApp community on the description, and we can continue this conversation later on. I would like to listen to hear from you what kinds of challenges you face in your teaching journey. Thank you for giving your attention to me, and I see you on the next video. Bye bye.